have these books, which are nothing to do with what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to make a strange video. I'm not really sure how it's going to go, so I kind of apologise in advance, but stay with me. I'm hoping this is going to work. I wanted to make a video to talk to you about why I write and why I read, but also to let you know a little bit more about me and a condition that I have. I think this video is quite important because it might help some people, I think, and people who are parents who have the condition that I have might find this video and that might be helpful to them, because there aren't many of us in the world. Oh, it sounds really mysterious. What is she? Is she a werewolf in a secret life? Oh my god, what is it? What is wrong with her? So yeah, but it also kind of does tie in with the Booktube channel, because what I'm going to talk about really does tie in with books and reading and just who I am as a person. If you've never watched this channel, hi, my name is Jen, and I am a bookseller in London. I grew up in the northeast of England. I'm also a writer. I've got 4 books published: Weird Things Customers Say in Bookshops, More Weird Things Customers Say in Bookshops, the Bookshop Book, and a poetry collection called The Hungry Ghost Festival. Back! Let's take it back, strip it back. I told you this video is going to be a bit all over the place. I'm sorry, future me who is editing this. I have something called EEC syndrome, which is ectrodactyly, ectodermal dysplasia clefting syndrome. Bit of a mouthful, I know. It is a form of ectodermal dysplasia, of which there are 150 different types. Okay, I'm going to put the tea down and explain. I was born with EEC syndrome, which means several things. Firstly, I was born with basically, I didn't have any fingers. I was born with lumps of skin and bone because I had syndactyly, which means that everything is joined together, and I have ectrodactyly, which is missing and misshapen fingers. So I had dozens of operations where doctors made fingers for me using skin grafts and metal plates and moving fingers around, removing pieces of bone. I think they did quite a good job in the end, to be honest. What am I saying? I think they did a really good job. They did an amazing job with what they were handed with. EEC syndrome, ectrodactyly, is often called, not very nicely, lobster claw syndrome, because hands are often claw-like. The last operation I had was a couple of years ago, and that was to remove a non-cancerous tumour which was growing on my nerve here, and I like to call him Brian. Brian's not really my friend so much. He gets on my nerves. Oh, that's a terrible joke. Oh my god, that was a terrible joke. I'm really, really sorry. Neuromas for everybody. Anyway, Brian is growing back right now, and he'll have to be taken out again at some point in the future, which is, I'm sorry, Brian. It's not just my hands, it's my feet. I have problems with my kidneys, hair, and your skin. Just the way your body controls your body temperature. If it gets too hot, I pass out. Up to the age of 10, I had bright white blonde hair. I was born with, I don't have all my teeth, so I've had operations on my jaw and my mouth to try and make things better. It's not because I don't take care of my teeth. That's not why my teeth are like this. It's just the way I was born, with lots of braces and corrective surgery, and that this is the best that I can get. And it also affects my eyes. I was born without tear ducts, so my eyes were really dry and I couldn't cry, and I had to have an operation when I was 2 to have those changed, so I had those put in. So basically, I spent a lot of time in hospital when I was a child, and books were my best friends. Before I could read myself, my dad would read to me every single night. My mum read a lot too, so we always had books around the house. And when I would have to stay over in hospital, my dad would stay over and sleep on a chair next to me, and he would read. And books were just this magical thing to me, where they were just, you know, there was no hospitals. You could escape and forget everything, and I just thought stories were the most magical things. And I still think that stories are the most magical things. Wanted to make stories of my own. The thing with my hands being the way they are, doctors didn't know like how much I was going to be able to do. So I really actually liked the act of learning to write, like the physical act of holding a pen, just trying to do things. So I loved that so much that I just ended up writing all the time. I was that kid who sat on the fire escape during break writing short stories. I used to write, I've written poetry since the age of 8. Year 5, I remember I used to write plays and get my friends to put them on for the rest of the school. Like, how obnoxious is that? It's so obnoxious. And I'm not saying I didn't have any friends and that books were my only friends, that's not what I'm saying at all, but books meant a hell of a lot to me. And I just wanted nothing more than to be a writer, just to make these stories for other people to disappear into and for me to lose myself in. And that is how I came to fall in love with books. It's interesting how people react to them. I talk with my hands quite a lot, as you can see now. It's normally why I'm holding a cup of tea or a book. Because of the job that I have, so I work in a bookshop. And so I'm interacting with the public a lot of the time. And children are great with it. Children are fantastic with anything, because if they see something and they don't understand, they ask. And they ask nicely most of the time, 99% of the time. A child will notice my hands and they'll say to me, does that hurt? That is the one thing that children want to know. Does it hurt? And they look concerned for me. And when I say no, they're like, oh, cool. And then they're over it. Parents, on the other hand, not so much. If they see their child trying to ask questions, they try to shush them because they're embarrassed. And that's just not the way to treat things. It's not the way to go about life. Ask questions and learn. I have people who refuse to hand me change because they don't want to touch me. When I had my first ever poem published when I was 11, and it was published in the Times, and the local paper came, take my picture. My English teacher, she handed me a pair of gloves and she said, you have to wear these. Why is that? Why do we not like things that are different to us? Why do we, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. The most fun thing is about having this though, is that you can make your hands into little hand puppets. Excuse me a second while I just graffiti on myself. This finger's my favourite. I call her Nelly. It's even got scar tissue for her ears. I mean, come on, how can you not make use of that? But something with EEC syndrome is that it's not just what you're born with, it's kind of a degenerative condition. It's a very weird one. It's a mutation of the P63 gene, which is a gene that controls the cornea, which is the film across your eye. People who have EEC syndrome, not everybody, but quite a few, when they hit around 30s, late 30s, it varies in different people, but your cornea is reproducing itself all the time, like a skin cell, and it just stops reproducing itself correctly. It just gets a fault in the gene and it just stops reproducing correctly, and it creates a film, almost like a cataract, but it's not a cataract because it's not on your eye, it is your eye. You can't see. There is no cure for this. That terrifies me. That would terrify anybody. I don't want to lose my sight. I quite like being able to see. Not just the world, I mean obviously I love the world, it's just, but if we're talking about books and reading and writing, I mean I know that you can listen to audiobooks, and I do listen to some. Books, I could learn Braille, books in Braille, I mean there's not that many of them, I need to do something about that. I also think that all audiobooks should be read by Alan Rickman or Benedict Cumberbatch. I think that would make everything better. So there is a possibility in the future, like in the next 10 years, that my eyesight will start to deteriorate and that I won't be able to see. It makes me want to do things and go places, but the thought of also not being able to read and being able to write, I mean I could write, but it would be a very different process. It scares me, and it makes me want to read all of the books, and it makes me want to write all of the things. It gives me the fear, and I think fear, in some respects, is healthy because it pushes us to get what we want. And we're all scared about something. I mean, failure or whatever. I mean, we are scared of something, and that pushes us to act against that so that that thing doesn't happen. Now, there's nothing that I can do to stop this happening, apart from become, you know, some kind of amazing genetic scientist and go and figure out the thing myself. But I guess what I'm saying is that we all have fears, and we've all got to make them into healthy things. We've all got to channel them into making something brilliant. I'm not saying I'm going to make something brilliant, but to try. And I think that's what I've learned most. Lots of people ask me, they say, if you could not have been born with EE syndrome, would you not have it? And I say no. And they're like, what is wrong with you? But it is a huge part of who I am. It doesn't define who I am, but it has made me who I am. You know, I love books, I love writing, I'm a writer, I write books, I have books. It changed who I am. Just knowing where to channel your energy and to make positive and beautiful things. And it's something that I'm learning and hopefully will continue to learn to do. But I also think that we need to not be that parent in my shop who shushes their child from asking questions, because if we don't ask questions, we become really ignorant people, and that breeds hate and it breeds discrimination. And I think that can be said about a lot of things in the world today, especially things that are happening right now in the world. So ask questions and learn things and use what you've got and whatever fears you have and conquer them. And if you can't conquer them, then do whatever you can with whatever you have. I'm going to stop because I have gone on long enough, and I hope that you like this video. Share it if you want to, like it if you want to, subscribe if you're new here. Hi! I make videos that are not just about this. I make videos about books. I talk about books all the time. I'm obsessed. I love you very much. Lots of bookish love, and thank you for watching. Bye.